There's a word that could actually make my head explode, right? And that won't be pretty. Yeah. System. System.
Philosophy.
System. No, system. The players don't fit the system. The system, it isn't working in England.
We've gone from 10 days ago, this Manchester United side against Arsenal showing that they could beat anybody in the league, to tonight, Augie saying this Manchester United side could lose anywhere in 10 days. What a turnaround.
Yeah, brilliant stuff.
I've actually moved house closer to the ESPN to come in for moments like this.
Craig made it in time.
They aren't used to these circumstances. They're the more tired of the two, both physically and mentally. They're not used to penalty shootouts against this quality of an opponent. Yet still, they were able to go toe-to-toe, albeit thanks to the fifth penalty miss from Cunha, and then it goes all the way to Bueno, which was, 12th or 13th at that point. And credit to them, because they missed one penalty in that 12 or 13. And I thought, again, you see the fans' reaction, justified, you know how much it means, and it was absolutely deserved.
I've been in, and Shaka will have as well, I'm sure, but as a goalkeeper, it's maybe slightly different. But I've been in that scenario as a Chelsea player and as a Celtic player in Scotland. You're the big club. And you go to some of these lower league grounds and you're kind of like a little blasé about it. And then you come out and the game starts, and before you know it, your goalie's having to make 2 or 3 saves because they've come out like a house on fire. It's the big moment. And you as a player go, whoa, right, hold on. Hold on. We need to switch on here, right? Because that attitude gives them a chance. And you just feel that maybe there was, again, even though with the changes, there was a bit of swagger about United tonight. We're Man United. We're spending all this money. We're just going to pitch up and beat Grimsby Town. And sometimes that can be your undoing. I've had those moments where I think, my God, these guys are actually better than what I thought. They're not good enough in the end if you put your foot on the gas. But they're sometimes better than what you think. And if you're just a little bit off, you give them a chance to take it. That's what Grimsby Town did. They took their big opportunity, albeit it was via penalties at the end. But again, it's moments like this for players that are probably, and I keep saying this, most players that play the game don't get to play at the level that we were able to play at. Unfortunately, most, guys are playing down the lower leagues or the Championship or below, and they never make that jump. You see how tough it is for teams to come from the Championship at times into the Premier League and then get suckered straight back down. It's the same for players. It's a big, big step to move up the divisions. And so for these boys, they don't have, most of them, and I'm not being disrespectful, they don't have the talent level. They're probably never going to see those big movies in the Premier League. And so you get your one opportunity as a player, and you either fold because you're too nervous, or you take it. And we saw those scenes at the end with the fans on the ground, albeit Man United are pretty much dross these days, even spending all that money. Doesn't matter to these guys. They've beaten Manchester United, the club, and that's been their big moment.
But that's the arrogance about Manchester United here, because to your point, yes, you fold. If you will fold if the opponent, and in this case Manchester United, gives you a reason to fold. If they give you a reason to believe in yourself, you take it. And Manchester United, just to come out in the way that they did, and give Grimsby every reason to believe that they could get a result here, is on them. And I can't help that. It just smacks of arrogance, because these players have to know better than going to lower league opponents and feel that all you need to do is turn up. All you need to do is put on your shirt and the result is determined. And some of that arrogance, Craig pointed it out, came out during the penalty shootout with Maguire and Bruno Fernandes.
We're probably not going to hear from Ruben Amorim during this show. We may not. I would imagine not. I wonder if he's thrown anybody under the bus after today's game. I wonder if he's taken responsibility. But when you play these strong-arm tactics that he has with quite a lot of players, he says, I'm the man, you're out, you're out, you're out, I'm making these changes, I'm doing this. That's all very well. But you've got to get results. Because if you're a Man United fan, can you trust? You can't trust this team, right? You just can't at the moment. I don't know when we will. Can you trust the manager to make the right decisions? There's no evidence since he's been at the club that you can trust him to make the right decisions. Yeah, like, you know, Garnacho may have an attitude, Rashford may have an attitude, whoever. I don't know. But he's making those decisions whilst not getting results. That's not a good fit. That is not a good fit. Because the board start looking at the manager. Say, look, how he's you know, if you're a board member, if you're Jason Wilcox who played the game, you're Omar Barada was at Man City, and there are others. You're sitting there at recruitment level before you even get to the financial gurus, and you say, this guy's totally inflexible. Totally. I said on the show the other day, I think it was Sunday, I believe it was, or whatever day. I've never known a top flight manager, ever known a top flight manager that won't swallow his pride and make changes.
Yeah.
None. Now, there might not have been wholesale changes, but there were changes. He never came out. Sir Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger, Jose Mourinho, Carlo Ancelotti, Antonio Conte. Go through the list. I don't give a damn. Go through the lot. Not one of them has ever come out and said, that's the way we're playing, end of story. That's it. That is it. Nuts and bolts. That is it. Not one of them. The greatest managers that have ever managed the game, not one of them. That's basically what this guy is saying. This is it. This is it, and I'm not changing. And I've said all along, when you don't make changes, if you're scouting Man United, right, on a weekly basis in the Premier League, you know, whatever team's playing Man United next week, it's the easiest scouting report and tactical analysis leading up that you're ever going to get. Because they've got three at the back, they've got two wing-backs, got two in midfield, they've got two narrow in behind and a striker. There's no surprise element. There's no flexibility. And that makes it easier, not for Grimsby Town, but that makes it easier for the bigger teams to go, tell you what, that's where we'll try and pinpoint. That's where because they're going to leave space there, they'll leave space there, they'll look for the diagonals. Shaka, it's just totally inflexible, and I cannot get my head around it.
And the thing is, I'm not sure how it gets an awful lot better. Yes, they're linked with a young goalkeeper to come in, but I'm not sure.
That's obviously the goalkeeper Onana tonight instead of Altay.
Two big mistakes from Onana tonight. And I've sat here and make the argument that I'd have Onana over Altay. On this performance, I'm not so sure.
You might as well leave the both of them in Grimsby.
It was. Listen,
buy them a house.
It was two really basic mistakes from Andrew Onana, who I've supported in the past year. But you're bringing in a young goalkeeper named since now 23 years old, in behind a back you expect.
Is this the Belgian boy?
Belgium,
Right,
yeah.
Who, by the way, did you hear the other day? They said he's not very good at crosses.
With this back three, coming into a back three that don't quite understand the system, and was exposed again today. Now, if Onana, with his experience, playing in Italy, playing in the Eredivisie, can't figure out this back three, I'm not sure how a kid coming in does. All that being said, the other thing that I'm kind of looking at, and you know, Oggy touched on it, is about questions about Amorim and his future. Now, I'm with Oggy in that I don't see Manchester United, their board, making any major decisions around him anytime soon.
No.
But Manchester United next have Burnley at home.
And then?
Then they go into the international break. Then they're away to Manchester City and at home to Chelsea. Now, Manchester United come out of they have to beat Burnley.
Yeah.
Have to. Otherwise, what happens from there and in is almost irrelevant at this point. If you cannot beat Burnley at home, then we have to have a whole new conversation. But then you have transfer window closes, and you have Manchester City away, Chelsea at home. You're on the wrong side of two hidings in those. And again, the conversation is totally different. So while I'm with Oggy fully here, I think the next 3 games, albeit over what will it be, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, given the international window, determines the rest of this season, determines whether we hear from Amorim that this is the worst Manchester United team that he's seen again. It changes so much of the perception and the conversation around him and this team.
Who said that?
Last year,
The worst one.
last year, Amorim said at some point, yeah, I think this could be the
Yeah.
worst Manchester United team I've seen.
Well, that was a
Something
quick
like that.
change because he went from there to we can beat anybody.
That's right. It was around
Fulham
Christmas
and
time, the
Grimsby.
New Year. I can't remember exactly when it was. But Amorim said that about his own team.
Yeah, I
Do you
remember.
mind if I go now? I mean, it was only a cameo role.
Yeah, that's all you come in for.
No, we've got more for you.
I only came in. I wasn't on the schedule.
There was more cup action. These are some of the results that stand out. Obviously, the biggest of them, Manchester United's loss to Grimsby Town. Fulham beat Bristol City.
What is-
Brighton
do you
beat
notice something
Oxford
here?
United.
All the other Premier League teams,
Won against the lower opposition. Yes, that is what happened elsewhere in the Carabao Cup.